let's talk about steps that are outside of the system. We didn't see any in our use scenario here, so let's pull this up. So in our use scenario, the customer or the user is simply walking through the sign up process, and there are no steps happening outside the system. When I say steps happening outside the system, what I mean is the user is having to go check their email for a confirmation email. They're going to maybe they're sent to another site for some reason. They're sent to some sort of other application on their computer. In any case, this doesn't require anything like that. But if it did, what we would need are steps in parentheses. Okay, so let's see if we have an example here. So the user sees notification that email verification has been sent. Then in parentheses, user responds to verification email. So notice how when they respond to that verification email, they wouldn't actually be within our system, right? They would be in another system. They might be in Gmail, or they might be in, whatever their email platform is. So we would put that in parentheses. Then user clicks on sign in button. So we're back in the system. Okay, and now we're clicking on stuff inside of our system. So the focus of use scenarios is how the user is interacting with the system. When necessary, for clarity, note what happens outside the system, and then steps outside the system go in parentheses. So these parentheses should be very rare. Another example of using parentheses is in system activities. So as you can see, the use scenarios are supposed to be created from the perspective of the user, but every now and again we might need to describe something that the system is doing. This should be very rare too. But it says use scenarios are about the user and do not include the system steps, but if clarity is needed, then we can add a note about what the system is doing. So notes about the system go in parentheses. Let's take a look at this example. User enters Travis B for username. User enters this set of numbers and characters and letters for password, and then the system displays prompt to sign up for a new account. So here we see parentheses. I feel like this is actually a bad example because in our use scenarios we would actually say something like user sees. We would actually see something like user sees sign up form. So we really would not want to ever display talk about something that the system is displaying. If anything, it would be more like system calculates this or that. We would never want to describe something that the system displays with our use scenarios, but this is just an example. So like I said before, this should be rare. We should be able to say most of our steps by saying the customer did this, the customer sees this, the customer clicks this, the customer sees this. And like I've just mentioned, often system steps should be written as what the user sees. So user sees pop up to sign up for new account rather than system displays prompt. So, all right. And that looks like the end of my slide here. So let's go ahead and work through a couple of use scenarios.